Hey everyone, welcome to Leftist Nerd Reacts. Really appreciate you watching the video. Please stay on to the end, hear about the updates, what's coming in the future, what's more or less going to be expected. But for right now, let's just get into it with One Piece chapter 1084. We have probably one of the wildest setup chapters I've read in a really long time. We get some more Reverie info, but what we really get this chapter is a ton more lore to make questions, assumptions, and discussions from. Let's start off with a basic recap so we all are on the same page. The issue begins with Sabo absolutely wrecking shit on some of these no-name guards and joining up with Bonnie since they have similar goals. Sabo has his marriage law checklist, which includes freeing slaves, Kuma's a slave, Bonnie wants to free Kuma, pretty aligned. Korosu pulls up in Crow mode, takes the keys, and dips just in time for Sabo to do his best Spider-Man impersonation, taking Bonnie up into the rafters. We overhear the guards walk under them and say something, but we're gonna put a pin in that. We then cut to Cobra at his death sentence, basically revealing a really crazy piece of lore dump. You gotta feed Theory Tube, you gotta feed the Theory guys, so shout out to Oda for that. And B, saying out loud to the Gorosei that not only does he have the biggest stones on the planet, but that his stones have led him to openly admit he has suspicions of the accepted history, both wants answers, and is smart enough to get some execution-worthy questions off. Aim is listening in while chilling in what looks like the Tangled Tower. It gives me very Rapunzel Disney vibes. Before we cut back to the outside, we do get one last panel of this discussion, and it's the Gandhi Gorosei pressing Cobra so goddamn hard with his little vein on the top of his head. He reminds me of Akainu. My headcanon is they just gotta be related. After the conversation with the Gorosei, we do, however, cut back to Shirahoshi's kidnapping because, of course, Charlos cannot physically stop himself from being the worst possible character. As Fukaboshi is rushing in to protect Shirahoshi and hopefully kill Charlos, Charlos gives Kuma the bark command. Everyone gets put on pause. Mio's guard, the guy we met at Fishman Island, who was the one saved by Shirahoshi's mom, takes that pause, jumps in front of Fukaboshi, and reminds him, hey, you're a noble. We handle this differently. As he's literally saying that though, we get goddamn Sai and Leo with the WWE super combo right on top of Charles's dome, which has now become crispy, burnt, fried rubbings. It is dusted. Right in the nick of time as things are going crazy and everyone's losing their mind, Morley comes in, takes Kuma before he can do another beam, at least that's what it looks like he's about to do, gives him a huge hug, then gives the order to cheese it before they overstay their welcome. We cut back to Cobra for the last page and see Im make themselves known in front of Cobra, in front of the Gorosei, pretty much out of nowhere. They walk up to the throne, much to the shock of the Gorosei, again in front of Cobra, and sit down after saying the name Lily, the original Alabasta ruler and Nefertari namesake that got Cobra down this exact path. In short, that's the chapter. Both a lot and not that much happened. It's seemingly we get some more Reverie info, but it's stuff that we more or less assumed happened, minus the Charlos crunch, which delicious. But there are some things important here to call out that I do think deserve some discussion. One, the guards calling out the existence of Eames' room, or at least what we assume they're referencing here when they say the Phantom Room, and how people keep missing if they get too close to it. I know we make a lot of assumptions here, but if we assume Aim has been alive this whole time, not necessarily all 800 years, but at least pre-time skip, at least maybe Romance Dawn, right? They've been here a while. Then that means something recently has changed, because otherwise, why would there be a recent shortage of guards? If the Shadow Room has existed this whole time and things have been, more or less okay, then they would never experience a shortage of guards. It'd just be normal. To me, this reads as, hey, something happened in the not too distant past. Now either this room has been made aware to us because we didn't know about it before, or this room that we've always known about is now somehow dangerous. I just think it's interesting that Oda specifically gives the guards that dialogue. I'm gonna put a pin in that. Another quick call out is Sabo mentioning that they're heading the opposite way of Bonnie. Obviously we know Bonnie is now an egghead, so she proceeded further and further into the world past Wano. Obviously, Sabo was going to the Comeback Kingdom. We've already seen him regroup with the Lulusians, the kingdom of Luzia and their people. I like that one better. And Dragon and Ivankov and the rest of the revolutionaries. No duh. But I do wonder, and maybe this is just me, if Sabo calling out that, hey, we're going to go back this way, the opposite way, because it's not like he said, hey, we'll meet up again later, or yeah, we'll come back around. He's saying we're going the opposite way. I wonder if that means that there's a focus for the revolutionaries to stay in Paradise, the East Blue, or the South Blue. Now, we recently got in 1083 some insight into their whole strategy, which, if we're being honest, really kind of brilliant. If we take that good faith built then and extend it here, what I interpret this to mean, and again, could be a bit of a reach, but what I interpret this to mean is that the revolutionaries are focusing on the new, on Paradise. They don't need to go to the New World. Mary Joie on top of the red line. The New World is past them, full of Yonkos, their territories, full of tough dudes. And in front of them, relatively easy mode to Paradise. If the revolutionaries focus on Paradise, get the anger up, get the resentment going, stopping the taxation collection, then either the Marines have to respond in force in the New World, which is tough, or they start cramping down harder on Paradise, which just fuels further revolution. It's a good strategy. You're using a natural bulwark, the New World, and shoving it in Mary Joie, flanking it. It could be a bit of a reach. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. I also read Kingdom, so my brain's just trying to think in 4D chess moves. Hopefully that's what they're doing. Another small call out, the Gorbachev Gorosei, absolutely hilarious. I immediately heard the Animal Crossing surprise reaction when I saw his face. Peak comedy. And the last bit of call out before I give my personal thoughts on this chapter, Straw Hat Grand Fleet, stocks keep rising, baby. We are talking straight game stonks. Leo and Sai with the joint move. I think that they're doing hockey as well in that. I've seen, or at least it looks like to me. I'll wait for the colorings, I'll wait for the confirmations, but either way, fan-fucking-tastic. That being said, how do I feel about this chapter? What's my actual personal review? Let's just not do a recap, but actually talk about it. Personally, I like the chapter. I think Egghead's been one of the best arcs we've gotten in a really long time, and that's a lot to say after the heels of Wano. I think I had a bit of fatigue from Wano, especially week to week, and I know a lot of people feel that way. I certainly did. I think it was a great arc. It was really emotional at the end for me, and it does have some of my highlights. But that being said, even after Wano, I think it's really clear that Egghead does feel like a proper Act 3. It feels like we have all the promise in Act 1 pre-time skip, and then I would almost argue that time skip, basically Return to Subodhi to Wano, so about chapter 598, 599, around the 600s to more or less the 1030s, 1040s, which is about, it's not nothing. That's a lot of chapters. That's Act 2. Egghead feels like Act 3. We've gotten a lot of interesting lore. We've gotten a lot of reveals. We've gotten a lot of payoff, which is exciting. And this just feels like another big W chapter. Lily's in a crazy drop. The fact that Cobra is curious about the Will of the Deep, another crazy drop. Eam revealing themselves, crazy drop. I don't believe we're going to do a cutaway next chapter, but I could totally see it. We are getting a break this week. So I'm curious to see where the theories go. I will be posting a video about my favorite, the top One Piece series according to Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube that I can find. And then my own personal favorite One Piece series, and then mine. So that video will be coming. But right now it just feels like Oda's just teasing us, and I'm really excited to see where this is going. That's it for the chapter review. Thank you for staying all the way through. I really appreciate you giving this channel a chance. If you like this content and you want to see more, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. We do have a Patreon that is in the comment description. I believe it's in the YouTube video as well. Not 100% sure, but it is there. We just set it up. Basically, what you can expect coming down the pipe is real simple. Weekly chapter reviews, weekly chapter discussions, and my own personal theories each week, as well as weekly top theories from Reddit and Twitter that I'll be collecting and aggregating and just kind of going through, and as well as selecting my favorite. This is going to be true for One Piece, MHA or Boku no Hero Academia, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Obviously, JJK and MHA are slotted to end this year. JJK, I feel like, is already way close to that. Versus MHA, I think, is a bit of cap. But you can watch those videos again in this video to kind of get there more or less. That being said, I'm excited. I'm curious to see what's going to happen for both of those series. We will be having on the Patreon member polls, Q&As, discussions, and live streams in the future if there are enough people. What I want to do is, as those series are ending, swap them out with either another weekly Shonen Jump title, maybe Jump Sunday or Cookie, or you name it. I also do read DC comics and Marvel comics. I'm a big comic fan, so I'm more than happy to include DC or Marvel comic books in that weekly discussion, theory discussion space. I feel like a lot of comics don't really have the same kind of built around community per series that we do see with a lot of the Jump titles. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hitting the notification bell would be pretty sweet. And then you will be seeing a lot more videos over the next few weeks. My goal with this channel is real simple. I want to make this full-time. I want to do this full-time. I want to provide interesting content, and any step along that way would be really appreciated. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again.